So which VR prescription lens inserts are the best for the Quest 3S? I've actually been lucky enough to test a bunch of different lenses from a bunch of different companies, and so here are a few that I think should be on the top of your list. Let's focus in. So right now I'm actually at my office measuring and testing all of these lenses. But the first thing I wanted to say is one good thing about the Quest 3S is that they use the exact same lens design as the Quest 2. Meaning if you have prescription lens inserts for your Quest 2 and you upgraded to the Quest 3S, those same lenses, those same lens inserts will work for the Quest 3S. So here are all the different lenses, different companies that I've tested out that we'll mention in this video. And you can find links to these in the description below, with a lot of them that have given me discount codes that I can pass on to you as well. So make sure you check out the description. As far as the accuracy of all the different lenses from the different companies, I have measured every single lens for every single eye from every single company, and every one of them were right on the money, were accurate, did really well. Now, that being said, there is a disclaimer here that I wish I could test out a bunch of different lenses with really, really high prescriptions. You know, you're up there in the -7, 8, 9, 10 with some astigmatism in there. I wish I could test a bunch of different lenses to see how the accuracy compared. But as far as my prescription, which is lower than those high ones, it was awesome. So I'm not really hesitant about recommending these lenses based off the accuracy. It's just the only thing I don't know is how they will do with the higher prescriptions. Now, the next thing I want to mention is the price. And this is where it can actually get tricky because all the different companies have different ways of pricing their lenses. It can depend on your prescription. If you have a higher prescription, a lot of astigmatism, a lot of times that company will charge more to be able to put a different type of lens in there. If you're going to add on an anti-reflective coating or the blue block coating, some companies charge for it, some don't, and so it can be tricky. And so what I did for the Quest 3 is I put together a VR buying guide to kind of help you navigate through all the prices. I'm going to do the same thing for the Quest 3S. So if you go into the description, I'll have that buying guide that you can go check out, and hopefully that will help you out. Now, I tend to gravitate to the companies that have kind of one set price for everything. For example, Zenni is nice because it's one set price no matter what your prescription is. All of the lenses are made out of a high index material. It's included with an anti-reflective coating, so it's kind of one set price. Now, there is a limit to what prescriptions they can make, so your prescription might fall out of their range of what they can make. Another one that I've liked from the beginning is Rail Optics. I think they make amazing lenses, amazing inserts, and they have one set price. They include the anti-reflective coating, so they're really great. Now, with them, if your prescription really does get high, then you might need specialty lenses, which they can make, which a lot of companies can't make depending on your prescription. And so with Rail Optics, if you really have a high prescription, if you have high prism, high astigmatism, they're going to be the ones to go to for that. So there'll be an extra charge if you are in that specialty lens category, but I really do gravitate to those companies that have kind of a one set price. Now, if you compare all the companies, they're all really comparable, and for the value and for what you get of the lenses, I really think you can't go wrong. But yeah, check out that buying guide. Hopefully that'll help you out. Now, as far as the lens quality, they really are all great. All the different companies, all the different lenses, especially if you put an anti-reflective coating on there, they can look really great. Now, if I had to pick any that might stand out, I would probably mention Rail Optics and the Zenni lenses, just because they can use higher index lenses even in the lower prescriptions, and that's without an upcharge. And so it's kind of nice to have those lighter lenses. The other one to mention would be VR Optician. Their lenses are made out of Zeiss lenses, made in Germany. Zeiss lenses do have a reputation for being a great product, great clarity, great lenses. And so that's something to be aware of with VR Optician. They are made out of great Zeiss lenses. So now let's talk about the actual design of the frame that the lenses sit in. Now, whatever VR device that you have and you're looking for VR lens inserts, there's usually two main ones. They're either a snap-on, so one piece that just snaps right onto the lens, or you have a magnetic clip-on type of frame. These are beneficial for if you're going to be sharing your device and you want to pass it over. You can just quickly take off the lenses and then they can still look through the device without having to look through your prescription. So it's kind of a convenience there, and it's really nice. Now, the magnetic designs that I have tested out are the Rail Optics VR Wave VR Rock, and Hans VR. Now right off the bat, you'll probably notice that the Hans VR and the VR Rock are really similar in their design, almost exactly the same. They feel the same and look the same, and so they're really similar, so you can't go wrong either way with either one of those. The one thing that I liked about Hans VR is they have the option to actually engrave your name on the side if you want to do that. They actually engraved Dr. Eye Guy on there, which was kind of nice. I don't know if you can see that here. Here we go, Dr. Eye Guy. So that was kind of cool of Hans VR. So if that's something you want to do, check those out. The VR Wave design are ones that I reviewed for the Quest 2. They had an initial design that was pretty high up and actually pinched my nose quite a bit. And then they actually redesigned the whole thing and actually made it nice and smoother, more shallow, made it way more comfortable to wear and didn't rub on my eyebrow or my nose. And so their new design is actually way better and still works great for the Quest 3S. The Rail Optics design is probably still my favorite magnetic design lens, just because they actually have a tab on here that makes it really easy to pull off the magnetic design, snaps on really easily, and actually is quite comfortable. Now, one thing that I mentioned in the Quest 2 lens review is that some of the lenses really got close to my nose or my eyebrow. Because I have kind of a bigger nose, some of the lenses actually started pinching on there. Now, the first design of the VR Wave was the worst on those. The rest were really not that bad. So now that VR Wave has fixed that, they're really all not that bad. But if I had to say ones that are closer to my nose are the VR Rock and the Hans VR. Still, I mean, they're really comfortable to play with, but if I was being picky, they're the ones that got closest to my nose. So if you are someone that has a really narrow pupillary distance and you're on the setting of 1, that brings the lenses in closer, and if you have kind of a thicker nose, it might pinch on the nose. Really depends on the person there, but that's something to be aware of. Now, some of these companies actually have a magnetic design and a clip-on design as well. But the two clip-on designs that I tested out were the ones from Zenny. They just have a clip-on design, and then one from VR Optician. Now, they're both really great. They really just snap on there. They hold on there really well, and they're really comfortable to play with. You hardly notice that they're there, and especially if I had to pick one out of these two, the VR Optician is super comfortable. You snap it on there and it's almost like it's not even there. It's really shallow, doesn't even touch your nose or your eyebrow. It's super nice. If you're going for a clip-on design, I would definitely look into the VR Optician. And the one thing that continues to surprise me is you'd think just the clip-on ones would be really way more shallow than the magnetic ones, but sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes they're actually really close. Like this is the Zenny lens and this is the Rail Optics ones. They actually get really close and how far out they project. Now, a lot of people ask me if there are any kind of crazy weird reflections, increase in God rays. I didn't notice any of that with any of the lenses. A lot of people also ask me if there's any reduction in FOV with these lenses. And supposedly there is a slight reduction in these lenses, but really I don't notice it that much. I guess it's just not a huge deal to me. If you're being picky, there might be a cutoff of 1 or 2 degrees off in your periphery with some lenses compared to other ones, but that really was not a deciding factor in my testing, and so I really don't think you need to be worried about that. And another big question people ask me is, hey, should I get the anti-reflective coating? Should I get the anti-fog coating? Should I get the blue block coating? Should I pay the extra money? I would at least get the anti-reflective coating, and luckily a lot of the lenses include that in their price. If you're paying a little bit extra for the coatings, I would go for the anti-reflective coating. Now, as far as cases go, a lot of them will have these small round or square zip-up style ones that you can put the lenses in there. They're actually really nice, really solid, really durable. I actually like them a lot. Maybe a different one would be the Zenny case. It's just kind of like a mini glasses case that you can put the lenses in there. It's okay. I don't know if I like it that much. I really like the Rail Optics case. From the beginning of like this one, it's kind of like this more rugged looking one. Yeah, I just like it a lot. It is kind of more big and bulky, but it's just cool looking. And then the one that I think is probably the most beneficial is the VR Optician one that actually just looks like a normal glasses case. The reason why I like it is because it can double as a glasses case. When you actually take your glasses off to play VR, you can put your glasses in here, store it, and then take the VR off and then get your glasses back. And so it kind of just doubles as a normal glasses case, and I like that because it has multiple uses. So I like that. VR Optician. Now, like I said, a lot of these companies gave me a discount code to pass on to you to save you a little bit of money. Find it in the description. That being said, VR Wave did put a time limit on the discount code. I'm not sure why. I think it was about 4 months, so I'll have to remove that when it's over. The other companies didn't put a time limit on there, so they're awesome, and so you shouldn't have to worry about them. So just remember, VR Wave might run out. Now remember, if you have any additional questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them down there. In the meantime, you can check out my other VR videos. Stay focused.